Hi everyone, from the basic law of demand, we are told that an increase in the price will lead to a fall in the quantity demand, that a fall in the price will lead to an increase in the quantity demand. But the extent to which this quantity demand increases or falls depends on what we call the price elasticity of demand. So the price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded given a change in price. Responsiveness of quantity demanded given a change in price. How is it calculated? Price elasticity of demand is calculated as a percentage change in quantity demanded all about the percentage change in price. If the numbers are given to you in whole numbers, you have to convert it into percentage. How do you convert it? By simply taking the difference between the two numbers that has been given to you, divided by the original number times 100 over 1. Original number, for example, the number might change from 50 to 60. The price of the good might change from 50 to 60 francs. So the original number there is 50 francs. So you use that formula, you convert it to percentage, and then you put in the percentage method. After calculating your price elasticity of demand, the answer can be negative. It can be negative. This is because of the law of demand, okay? But whenever you see negative, you just have to ignore it. Ignore it. For example, the answer gives you negative 4. Ignore the minus sign, the negative sign, and put just 4 as your answer. You are very correct. So your answer can equally give you a figure greater than 1. That means demand is price elastic. Demand to be price elastic means a small change in price will lead to a more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. Your answer can equally give you a figure less than 1. That means demand is price inelastic. For demand to be price inelastic means a bigger change in price will lead to a less than proportionate change in quantity demanded. For example, a 50% change in price will lead to only 20% change in quantity demanded. That is when we say price is inelastic. It can equally give you 0. After calculating your price elasticity of demand, the answer can give you a figure called a figure 0. So this means that demand is perfectly price inelastic. For demand to be perfectly price inelastic means that demand does not change. No matter how price changes, demand is always constant. It can equally give you this sign, we call it infinity. Infinity means demand is perfectly price elastic. It means a change in price will lead to a figure we cannot count. The meaning why we say it is known as infinity. It can equally give you a figure called the figure 1. It can give you 1 as the answer. So that means demand is unit price elastic. It means a 50% change in price will lead to a 50% change in quantity demanded. So after calculating your price elasticity of demand, can give you any of these answers, and you can be asked to interpret the figure that it has given you. So looking on the board, we have two diagrams that illustrate elasticities of demand. From the first diagram will show us if price is elastic or price is inelastic. That's the price elasticity of demand, if it is elastic or inelastic. So how do you know from the diagram, from the figure, from the curve, if demand is price elastic or price inelastic? When the demand curve touches the y-axis, it means demand is price elastic. It means greater than 1, okay? Greater than 1. It slopes. Look at the way it slopes. It slopes gently. It slopes gently. So that means demand is price elastic. Touches the y-axis. On the other hand, for demand to be price inelastic, it means it has to touch the x-axis. See the way it slopes. It is steep. It is steeper than the price elastic. So for it to be inelastic, it has to slope steeper than that of price elastic. So that's what the price elastic demand is less than 1. Equally, on the other side of the board, demand can be perfectly inelastic or perfectly elastic. So for perfectly inelastic, demand simply has a vertical shape, and price elastic demand is equal to 0. For perfectly elastic, demand has a horizontal shape, and price elastic demand is equal to infinity. Interestingly, let's equally look at some of the factors that affect price elastic demand. Now, we want to know what will make price elastic demand to be more elastic or more inelastic. So if a good has a substitute, that good is more elastic than inelastic. So for example, a good like meat and fish, these are elastic. It means that if you change the price of one, the demand for the other one will increase. In other words, if you increase the price of one, the demand for the other product will increase. So this good is known as an elastic good. So any good which has a substitute is known as an elastic good. Whereas goods which don't have substitute are known as inelastic goods. So the next factor we look at is the percentage of income. So the percentage of income that is consumed. For example, if the percentage of income consumed after buying a product is high, it means the demand for that product will be elastic. But if the percentage of income after buying a product is low, the percentage of income spent after buying a product is low, it means demand becomes inelastic. Let's look at the next factor here we call luxury or necessity. If a good is a luxury, that good becomes price elastic. But if a good is a necessity, it becomes price inelastic, okay? Because we cannot do without it. Let's look at the next point, addiction or habit forming. Habit forming is a situation where people can no longer deal without the product, addicted to the product. In other words, they form a habit every day by consuming such product. Example of such products we have is beer, cigarettes in Cameroon, and even in all other parts of the country. So they have perfectly inelastic demand. It means no matter how price changes, demand is always constant. The last but not the least factor here we have is time period. Time period, there are two time periods in economics, that's the long and the short run. In the short run, demand is very inelastic. It means because there is no substitute. Demand is inelastic in the short run. But in the long run, demand becomes elastic because of the availability of substitute. So these are the factors that determine if demand is elastic or inelastic. And remember to draw how to draw a diagram on elastic or inelastic, perfectly inelastic or perfectly elastic. Today we're looking at price and stock demand. Thank you very much for watching.